Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for this very special day, Wednesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day 2021. We will begin our reading with the area deaths. By the way, my name is Pam. Alan H. Brown, 84, of Dover, passed away peacefully on March 14th in the inn at Northwood Village at Dover. In keeping with his wishes, Alan is to be cremated through the care of Guy Funeral Center at Dover. Robert D. Glazer, 78, of Newcomerstown, died Sunday, March 14th at his home. A graveside service will be held Wednesday, March 17th at 1:30 p.m. at West Lawn Cemetery of Newcomerstown. Visitation will also be March 17th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Addie Funeral Home prior to the service. And that concludes the area deaths for today. Let's begin with our first article. Dover Hiking Biking Path to be completed this year by John Baker. Dover's council on Monday authorized the retention of a Mansfield company for construction engineering for a multi-use path at the park that will be built along the Tuscarawas River. Service Director Dave Douglas said K.E. McCartney and Associates was one of 4 companies considered for the work. McCartney was chosen because it has worked with the city before and its employees are familiar with working on projects that are funded by the Ohio Department of Transportation. Douglas said ODOT projects often involve a great deal of paperwork. ODOT is funding 95% of the project. On Friday, the city's Board of Control will award a contract for construction of the path, which will run from Tuscarawas Avenue along the river to the corporate limit. The low bid of $525,329 was from Shelley Company of Columbus. It covers construction of the path and lighting. Douglas said the project should be completed this year. This will be the next major project down there, the boat ramp being the first one, said Councilman Justin Perkowski, chairman of Council's Park and Recreation Committee. The park really starts to take shape after this project is complete. Eventually, the path will connect with the Ohio and Erie Canal Towpath Trail at State Route 416. Council also voted to accept the annexation of 2 parcels of land along East Ohio Avenue on the north side of the city. The owner of the property, Larry Browning, and the developer, Jared Lawver of Lawver Construction of New Philadelphia, plan to construct 4 houses on the 2.2-acre property at 229 East Ohio Avenue. Each house would be about 1,600 square feet in size and have 3 to 4 bedrooms. They would sell for between $250,000 and $300,000. Paperwork for the annexation has already been filed with the county commissioners. In other action, Council gave first reading to an ordinance authorizing Douglas to sell 4 city vehicles that are no longer needed. If they cannot be sold, then they can be sold for scrap. The vehicles include a 2004 GMC pickup truck, a 1994 Ford ambulance, a 2001 Ford F-250 pickup, and a 1997 Chevrolet pickup truck. And moving on, Freddy's Frozen Custard reopens 1 year after a devastating fire by John Baker. In Dover, a little more than a year after it was destroyed by fire, Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers in Dover reopened for business on Tuesday. The restaurant is located at 3020 North Wooster Avenue. We're grateful for all of the support we've received from the community since we opened in 2018, said David Geeson, franchise owner. We look forward to serving guests and Fred heads in Dover again. Freddy is known for its cook-to-order steak burgers, Vienna beef hot dogs, shoestring fries, and frozen custard treats made with freshly churned chocolate or vanilla frozen custard. The freestanding restaurant is 3,000 square feet and has additional seating on the patio. The restaurant was destroyed by a fire that began in the early morning hours of March 12, 2020. Firefighters from Dover, New Philadelphia, and Bolivar battled the blaze. The establishment was a total loss. Freddy's Frozen Custard opened in 2018 after the building, a former Arby's restaurant, was remodeled. The Dover Freddy's was the first location in this part of Ohio. Hours of operation are 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Now let's move on to the Sugar Creek Village Council meeting by Barb Limbacher. Meeting date March 1st. The key action was heard Josh Legg of the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency regarding the Cherry Ridge water line. The discussion, Legg said the cost of the project is estimated between $750,000 and $1 million. There is no project date for the project to begin. Council would require the area to be annexed into the village before any work could begin. The nomination of the necessary documents to apply for funding was March 3rd. Legg agreed to contact Pam Ewing and the Office of RCA for help with the documents. In other action, Council appointed Josh Yoder, Nathan Cunningham, Sierra Goolsby, Hannah Fanton, and Julia Deichler to the fire department. A background check and a drug test will be required. Council agreed to hire Cole Morris as a full-time police officer. He will serve a 6-month probationary period. A background check and a drug test is required before his hiring is complete. Council heard a suggestion from Village Administrator Matt Specht to approve a parking ban when it snows so village employees can plow the streets. Council heard the Bricktown Tavern liquor license is up for renewal. Council agreed to allow the license to be renewed without objection. Council heard the computer server needs updates. The village has 2 options, to replace the server or switch to the cloud option. Schneider Computer is currently the IT support provider. The itemized quote will be sent to Schneider for input. Council will place signage at the Merchants Garage entrance to avoid parking issues. And Council passed an emergency, an ordinance approving the 2021 permanent appropriations. Also, for your information, Council thanks Fiscal Officer Connie Bowen for her attention to payroll tax issues. The Village Hall remains closed to the public. The next meeting, 7 p.m. April 5th via Zoom teleconferencing. A Street, Water, and Sewer Committee meeting will meet at 6:30 p.m. prior to the meeting. Holmes Center for the Arts to present Coppelia. Holmes Center for the Arts will present the classical ballet Coppelia, The Girl with Enamel Eyes, at 6:30 p.m. April 9th at 2 and 6:30 p.m. April 10th at 2 p.m. April 9th at 2 and 6:30 p.m. April 10th, and at 2 p.m. April 11th at the Ohio Star Theater, 1387 Old State Route 39 in Sugar Creek. Coppelia is the story of 2 young sweethearts, Swanhilda and Franz, who live in a village in Poland during the late 1700s, and Coppelia, the daughter of Dr. Coppolis. Audience members may be socially distanced but can sit with their requested group. Masks are required. The virtual show will air April 24th. To purchase tickets, call 855-344-7545. Ohio expands COVID-19 vaccine eligibility to 40 plus, cancer, obesity, and all over the age 16 eligible on March 29th. By Craig Webb and Emily Mills. Ohio expands COVID-19 vaccine eligibility to 40 and over and some others. Ohio eligibility for COVID-19 vaccines will expand this week to people 40 and older and those with additional medical conditions, including cancer and obesity. Governor Mike DeWine announced at a news conference Tuesday morning in Cleveland. And by the end of the month, all Ohioans 16 and older will be eligible to get the vaccine. Eligibility starts Friday for about 766,000 Ohioans in Phase 1E, which includes those 16 and older with cancer, chronic kidney disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, heart disease, and obesity. Friday also marks the start of Phase 2C, those 40 and older, including about 818,000 Ohioans between the age of 40 and 49. On March 29th, all Ohioans 16 and older will be eligible to get the vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine is the only one approved for those 16 and older, while the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are only approved for those 18 and older. DeWine was in Cleveland for the soft launch of Ohio's first federally coordinated mass COVID-19 vaccination clinic at Cleveland State University's Wolstein Center. Dubbed Operation Magnus After the CSU Viking mascot, the mass vaccination clinic is expected to administer shots to some 210,000 Northeast Ohioans over the next 8 weeks. Ohio and vaccines. Military takes over Cleveland State's Wolstein Center to set up mass COVID-19 vaccine site. The expansion of eligibility, DeWine said, is thanks not only to a steady flow of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines arriving in the state, but an anticipated influx of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson variety later this month. DeWine said Ohioans can anticipate a more robust availability of shots in the coming weeks at the 1,300 providers scattered around the state, along with soon-to-open state-run mass vaccination sites in Akron, Cincinnati, Columbus, and other locations. Small pop-up temporary vaccination sites will be coming to communities throughout the state once the availability of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine increases, DeWine said. As of Tuesday, some 2.4 million Ohioans had received at least one dose of a vaccine, covering roughly 1/5 of the state's total population. DeWine said he visited Tuesday morning with some of the first Ohioans to receive a vaccine administered by medics from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, at the Wolstein Center. The reaction was one of relief and happiness, he said. This is a great day. But DeWine cautioned that while the news on the vaccine front is promising, Ohioans still are contracting the potentially deadly virus. The virus is still very, very much out there, he said. This is a race. And that's why mass clinics like the one in Cleveland that opened in cooperation with the Federal Emergency Management Agency are critical. It is the first such site in the state, and all the vaccines distributed are in addition to the state's usual allotment from the federal government. Kevin M. Sly, FEMA Deputy Regional Administrator, said the location was selected because of its proximity to underserved populations who might otherwise struggle to find access to the vaccine. Governor Mike DeWine removes his mask to take a question during a press conference Tuesday at Cleveland State University's Wolstein Center. DeWine toured the FEMA mass COVID-19 vaccination site at the Wolstein Center prior to the press conference. Working with community groups, Sly said some of the vaccines and appointment times have been set aside to ensure an equitable distribution for those who may not have access to the technology to make an appointment or the means to get to the arena. Special free bus shuttles have been set up, along with ample free parking around the Wolstein Center. Sly said he knows firsthand the dangers of the virus as a number of his close family members, including his mother and grandmother, both contracted the coronavirus. They all survived, but Sly says he knows other families have not been so lucky. This is a #1 priority for people of color and all Ohioans, he said. DeWine says he believes Ohio is finally at a turning point, and everyone can do his or her part by continuing to social distance, wearing a mask, and signing up to get the vaccine. This is a lifesaver, he said. This enables you to live your life and get your life back. Mass vaccination clinic staffed by National Guard and Army troops. DeWine was at the clinic Tuesday morning with FEMA Region 5 Acting Administrator Kevin Sly, Cuyahoga County Executive Armand Budish, and Cleveland State University President Harlan Sands. The Super Vaccination Center at Cleveland State University's Wolstein Center is the largest of its kind, coordinated by the federal government, and is being staffed by a combination of Ohio National Guard and Army troops. It will vaccinate 1,500 on the first day and then ramp up vaccinations by another 1,500 each of the ensuing days until it reaches its capacity of 6,000. The initial smaller number of vaccinations will allow the 200 Ohio Guardsmen and 217 medical personnel from the 101st Airborne out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to work out any logistical issues. More mass vaccination sites coming soon across Ohio. The state also is planning to host other mass vaccination clinics across Ohio, DeWine has said they're expecting to open by the end of this month. Those sites include Chapel Hill Mall at 2000 Britton Road, Akron, by the Summit County Public Health. Knights of Columbus, 810 South Cable Road in Lima, Allen County Public Health. Lucas County Recreation Center, 2901 Key Street in Maumee. Lucas County Public Health. Dayton Convention Center, 22 East 5th Street, Dayton, Public Health, Dayton and Montgomery County. Celeste Center, 717 East 17th Avenue in Columbus, Columbus Public Health. Cintas Center at Xavier University, 1624 Harold Avenue in Cincinnati, run by the Kroger Cincinnati Health Department, Hamilton County Public Health, and the Health Collaborative. Adina Packard Medical Education Center, 446 Hospital Road in Chillicothe, by the Adina Health System. Marietta Memorial Hospital, 401 Matthew Street, Marietta, by the Marietta Memorial Hospital. Colony Square Mall, Elder Bierman, 3575 Maple Avenue, Zanesville, Genesis Health. Wilmington Air Park, 1113 Airport Road, Wilmington, Kroger. And now, the Tuscarawas Board of DD adapts Awareness Month festivities. Tuscarawas County Board of Developmental Disability officials aren't letting the COVID-19 threat stand in the way of their yearly effort to celebrate the individuals they serve. Community Relations Director Carrie Silverthorne says the statewide shutdowns last March altered their plans for National Developmental Disability Awareness Month, so they're trying it again this year based on what they've learned over the past 12 months. She says it's similar to what they've done in the past, except in a virtual format. She says community members can support the effort by participating in one of the virtual events listed on the board's website, or by emailing a story, quote, or photo highlighting the contributions of individuals with disabilities to K. Silverthorne at tuskbdd.org. Ohioans in their 40s are eligible for COVID-19 vaccines starting Friday. Cleveland, Ohio is once again about to make more people eligible for the coronavirus vaccine. Governor Mike DeWine says the availability list starting Friday will include those ages 40 to 49, or about 818,000 Ohioans, along with people under 40 suffering from cancer, heart disease, or obesity. DeWine says the state is getting about 400,000 doses of the vaccine this week. He says because that number keeps climbing, anyone 16 and older will be eligible for the vaccine by March 29th. The Tuscarawas County Health Department is now opening its online wait list for those becoming eligible to receive the vaccine this week. Up next, the city revitalizes crime-ridden lot in Uhrichsville. Cleanup is underway at a former railroad property neighbors say had become a hotspot for drug activity. Twin Cities Kid Coalition Coordinator Wendy Mann says with the help from Mayor Mark Haney and a representative from R.J. Corman, they were able to get Federal Railroad Administration officials to inspect the decaying railroad depot at the end of Lake Street, which they ultimately deemed a nuisance and liability. Haney said he accompanied the inspectors on their visit, and it was clear someone had been squatting in the building. Demolition crews arrived at the site on Monday. Mann says by the afternoon, all that remained was a grassy field area where neighborhood kids will now be able to play safely. Health officials cautiously optimistic after a full year of battling COVID. In Dover, more Tuscarawas County residents have been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus than have been infected over the past year. But health officials say we're still nowhere close to reaching the level of herd immunity needed to stamp out the virus completely. This past Sunday marked a year since 38-year-old Nick Brown became the first local resident to test positive for the virus. The county has since logged more than 8,100 virus cases and 235 deaths. But County Health Department spokeswoman Jennifer DeMuth says things are beginning to turn around now, thanks to the vaccine and ongoing efforts to slow the virus's spread. More than 15,000 Tuscarawas County residents had received an initial dose of the vaccine as of Friday afternoon, and almost 9,000 were considered fully immune. DeMuth says victory is in sight, but we're not there yet. She says in the meantime, it's imperative that we continue taking the preventive measures Health Commissioner Katie Seward first shared with the community during a joint press conference announcing the county's first positive case a year ago. And now, the Baltic Easter egg hunt to be held. The Baltic Easter egg hunt will be at 12:30 p.m. April 3rd at the Baltic Park on North Park Street. The hunt is for children ages 10 and younger. Registration will be held at 12:30 p.m. and the hunt will begin at 1 p.m. Baskets will not be provided. For more information, you can email Mr. Stara Francis, MrStarafrancis, at yahoo.com. The Massillon Museum to exhibit Women of Resilience. The Massillon Museum will exhibit Women of Resilience, curated by Priscilla Roggenkamp, Judith Sterling, and Patricia O'Neill Sasha in the Altman Health Foundation Gallery from March 27th through May 23rd. The exhibit is part of a local and national celebrations of the centennial of women's suffrage. 25 artists have explored a variety of topics in traditional and non-traditional media. These topics include personal empowerment, overcoming barriers, the capacity to recover, acts of strength and resistance, and healing the world and the individuals. Invited artists were asked to create art representing positive attributes of the women's movement and female superheroes. Their artwork is a wide array of media, including paintings, clay, jewelry, fabric, and mixed media. 50 works of art will be included. Exhibiting artists include Claire Murray Adams, Ruthie Ochee, Kathleen Brown, Heather Bullock, Sarah Curry, Annette Yoho Feltus, J. Lee Garcia, Laura Kolinsky Schultz, Charmaine Lurch, Sarah McMahon, Erin Mulligan, Michelle Mulligan, Patricia O'Neill Sasha, Mary Kay O'Neill, Cynthia Petrie, Priscilla Roggenkamp, Judith Sterling, Sylvia Treasel, Gail Trunick, Michelle Walks, Gwen Waite, Joe Westfall, Gail Weatherall Sachs, Laura Winters, and Kiana Ziegler. For more information, please call 330-833-4061. The Carrolltons Credenda Fowler to bowl for Kent University Tuscarawas. Kent State University at Tuscarawas is announcing the signing of a 2021 Carrollton High School senior to their women's bowling team. On Monday, Corenda Fowler signed a national letter of intent to bowl for the Golden Eagles. Fowler was a 3-year letter winner for the Warriors bowling team and has bowled since she was 5 years old. Her highest season average for CHS was 184, and she has bowled in the Pepsi tournament and various Junior Tournament Bowlers Association events. She recently missed the cut in a 20 and under JTBA tournament by 5 pins and finished in 5th place. In the classroom, she is a 4-year member of the Spanish Club, having taken the language all 4 years of high school. Corenda is a pleasure to be around and really works at her game, said Verva Fox, head women's bowling coach for Kent State Tuscarawas. She has a high bowling IQ and understands the care it takes to adjust her game during the match. She is very consistent and going to be a great teammate. We look forward to having her help us move up our level of competitiveness in the Ohio Bowling Conference. Kent State Tuscarawas is a member of the United States Collegiate Athletic Association and the United States Bowling Congress. Well, friends, that concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for this very special Wednesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day 2021. Thank you for inviting me into your home. My name is Pam. Please stay safe, be blessed, make it a great day.